You ever feel like you need a PhD in nutrition just to go grocery shopping? Yeah, you're not alone. So in this explainer, we're going to arm you with the skills to see right past all that flashy marketing and figure out what's really in your food. Let's get right into it.
You know the feeling, right? You're standing in the grocery aisle, you're holding a box that is just screaming healthy, but there's this little voice in your head going, is this for real? Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out. Are those supposedly healthy foods actually telling you the whole story? And this right here, this just perfectly illustrates that disconnect. I mean, look at the promise on the front of the package. You get these big, beautiful words like all natural or low fat. But then you flip it over and bam, the truth is hiding in plain sight on the ingredient list. And what are the real stars of the show? So often it's sugar, refined grains, and a bunch of artificial additives. You know, this whole thing is so common, there's actually a name for it, the healthy food illusion. It's all about that gap between what a product looks like on the shelf and, well, what it actually is when you bring it home. And seriously, this isn't some rare occurrence. It's practically an industry standard. The marketing is designed to make you feel great about what you're buying. But don't worry, you don't need a magnifying glass and a trench coat to crack the case. We're going to give you the tools you need to become a super savvy shopper, basically a label detective in your own right. All right, so where does our detective work begin? Well, it starts with the most important clue of them all, the ingredients list. This, right here, is where the real story of your food is written. Honestly, this is the single most powerful tool you have in the grocery store. It's your first line of defense against all those misleading claims. And here's the golden rule, the one thing you have to remember. Ingredients are always listed in descending order by weight. That means whatever you see first, second, or third on that list, that's what you're mostly eating. Simple as that. So the key is knowing what to look for, right? When you scan that list, just keep these 3 red flags in mind. It's like a quick mental checklist. First, can you spot the hidden sugars? Second, can you identify any artificial additives? And third, is the list a novel of unpronounceable, chemical-sounding names? Because that is a major warning sign. Okay, let's start with the sneakiest culprit of them all, sugar. It is an absolute master of disguise, hiding in plain sight under dozens of different names. Just take a look at these for a second. High fructose corn syrup, that one's pretty obvious to most of us now. But what about things like dextrose, sucrose, maltose? They're all just sugar wearing a clever costume specifically designed to fly right under your radar. Okay, so now you know how to spot the bad guys on the ingredients list. Let's put those new skills to the test, shall we? It's time to expose some of the biggest marketing myths out there and unmask those imposters on the grocery shelves. First up, we've got a real classic, the low-fat or fat-free promise. Oh man, this one has been fooling people for decades, playing on that old belief that all dietary fat is the enemy. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. When manufacturers take out the fat, they also take out the flavor and the texture. So what do they replace it with? You guessed it, a ton of sugar, salt, and artificial thickeners. From now on, a low-fat label should be your signal to immediately flip that box over and check the sugar content. All right, next up is a claim you see on pretty much everything, from bread to cereal, made with whole grains. It sounds fantastic, right? I mean, it's a cornerstone of a healthy diet. But that wording, it's very, very deliberate. This might just be one of the trickiest claims out there. See, a product can legally say made with whole grains, even if it has just a tiny little bit, while the number one ingredient is still plain old processed refined flour. So here's the key takeaway, the thing to burn into your memory. For it to be a true whole grain product, whole wheat or whole grain flour has got to be the very first ingredient on the list. No exceptions. Okay, next on our list is a word that's so vague it's almost meaningless, and yet it's incredibly powerful in marketing. Natural. You hear the word natural, and it just conjures up these images of wholesome, unprocessed food straight from the farm, right? But the reality? Well, it's a little more complicated. The term isn't strictly regulated, which means a product labeled natural can still contain things like high fructose corn syrup. So the rule is always check the ingredients. And for our final myth, we're tackling a big one, especially in today's health-conscious world, gluten-free. So, just a quick refresher. Gluten is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. Now, for people with celiac disease or a genuine intolerance, this label is absolutely essential. But for everyone else, it's not some kind of magic health halo. Gluten-free products are often made with highly refined starches and then packed with extra sugar and fat to try and replicate the texture that gluten provides. So remember, gluten-free does not automatically mean it's the healthier choice.
All right, you've learned how to decode the ingredients, you've learned how to bust the myths. Now let's put it all together. Welcome to your Shopper's Playbook, your simple guide to absolutely winning at the grocery store.
You know, this quote really gets to the heart of the matter. Food companies are businesses, and their number one goal is to make a profit. That doesn't make them evil, not at all, but it does mean their marketing is designed to sell you something, not necessarily to be a transparent health guide. And that's why being a skeptical, informed consumer isn't cynical, it's just plain smart. Ready for your game plan? Here it is. 4 simple steps to help you navigate those aisles like a total pro. Number 1, prioritize whole, unprocessed foods. You know, things like fruits, vegetables, lean proteins. They don't have ingredient lists because they are the ingredients. Number 2, read every single label. Make it a habit, no exceptions. 3, focus on quality over quantity. A short list of recognizable ingredients is almost always going to be better than a long list of chemicals. And finally, number 4, trust your gut and be skeptical. If a claim on the front of a box sounds way too good to be true, it probably is.
And just like that, you are now officially a food detective. You've got the tools, you've got the knowledge, and you can see right past all the hype. The power to make truly informed choices is literally in your hands. So go out there and conquer the grocery store. Which leaves me with just one question. What are you going to uncover on your next trip?